It is a Wednesday. We are into a holiday, coming up into a holiday weekend. 4th of July. We're going to talk about fireworks. Well, I think they're a bad idea. We're going to talk about a little bit about the surf ranch. I was down there for a couple days. I got some video, I promised you. Not awesome video, but video nonetheless. And then I wanted to talk to you about the chance of maybe a thunderstorm or two over the next 24 hours up around Lake Tahoe. And we'll look at some wild animal cameras. We'll look at the long range forecast, which for this period, not bad. In other words, it could be much hotter. So that starts me or brings me to my first topic. Take a little drag on the coffee. 4th of July is stupid. It is so in California. It's not stupid. It's an awesome holiday. I love America. I love all that. But it's the stupidest thing. It's a Mediterranean climate, so it's dry summer. We're dry. We're dry until November. Hopefully sooner, but wet. But dry till November. Fuel moistures are in the tank. And we're going to give 12-year-old kids sparklers. Are you kidding me? I know. So, I'm just like, and listen, here's the beauty part. I don't blame your 12-year-old kid. I don't blame your 14-year-old kid. I don't blame you. I don't blame the guys that sell the fireworks. I blame the state government. I can't believe that my life, 66 years, almost 67 years, we've been doing this. Because imagine if the weather pattern I was going to show you was not as, favorable for dangerous fireworks. In other words, it's not a red flag warning period. Now, what if it was, right? I'm sure they would do some kind of banning, but it's not. Listen, I was 14. Here's how it works. They go, okay, no fireworks, a red flag warning. So 4th of July comes, it goes, you know what I do? I have stowed away a ton of sparklers and bottle rockets and really cool, awesome awesome stuff that my brother-in-law got me, or that my uncles are notorious for giving you fireworks. It's still not their fault. It's the state government for going, yeah, you can sell this stuff in a tinder dry state. Fireworks. Fire, obviously, that's the number one, but working in television, 38 years, I think almost longer than that. And just being around people who've been in big fires. I was up at the Paradise Fire. I know people in the Santa Rosa Fire, the Coffee Park Fire. They get PTSD. They really do. And so there is that sort of fear that comes over people. And most of us don't have that, but some do. And it's horrible because of fire and because of the time of year, because of the smell of smoke. I know. And then this is the one that I never really got until about 20 years ago. But the vets coming back from Afghanistan, even the Vietnam vets back in the day, it's triggering as hell. And I hate to sound, I'm not all woke at all, but I'm just like, I get that. Like I was in a car wreck once and eventually I see a car wreck, I get kind of, I get weird feeling. Well, that's how people feel. Pets, right? My dog Carl, who was awesome, passed, rest his soul. He hated fireworks and he would just freak out and pets run away. Not just a couple. Carl's not the only one. Like I'll bet you know somebody who has a pet or you have a pet. So it's now you're creating this disruption in the field of happiness for these animals. Safety, yeah, we talked about that. Oh, and wildlife. Wildlife's not good. I mean, it's right. I'm sure the hummingbirds are stoked to have explosions. And then what was the other one? Safety, wildlife. I had one more. Oh, air quality. I know. You're not breathing good stuff when you do that. And then the last thing I'll say, I hate fireworks on the 4th of July. And Gavin Newsom, it's you, buddy. It's you. He's governor, isn't he? I'm like, dude, stop. Just stop. I know there's lobbies and stuff like that, but just freaking stop fireworks in California in July. Maybe fireworks in California in January. Still a bad idea, but I think it should be definitely reconsidered. So I have many thoughts on that. But the weather pattern looks pretty good for fireworks if you're gonna have to have them. I had more to say on that, but I can't remember when I was gonna say. I've been saying that forever. PTSD people. Yeah, I just remember back to TV when I used to get phone calls from like little old ladies and go, Bill, because back in the day before the computer, people would call me because I was Google, right? Which not really, but kind of was, because I was their only touch point with anything more than they didn't have laptops. But anyway, I can remember talking them off the ledge. When I retired, I got tons of letters from people who were like, would call me, and I would talk them through the whole week. You know, it was kind of like a therapist in a way. Okay, I'll think of more. Delta, Mount Diablo, awesome day. Red flag warnings, Northern California, talked about that, right? That's in Alturas, almost picks up Fall River, and then up towards Burns, Oregon, in those areas. Here we have a heat advisory. This is in Montana. It is hot. Heat advisory today. They're going to go, what are they going to go? Does it say 101, 100 degrees? That is hot for that far north. Dry too. So the heat's going to be very noticeable. So avoid strenuous activity. And let's see, fire, smoke. We do have a few fires burning, but nothing massive. In Northern California, this is watchduty.org, and Northern California, we're kind of crushing it in terms of fires. I just saw this one. What's that one? That's about 0.1 acres. Let's see. Here it is, green fire, 2 acres. Active, no containment on it yet. But again, this is up by Lake Shasta. This is watchduty.org, by the way. This bad boy is awesome for finding your fires. And this is a great shot. This is one of the fires right here. I guess that would be the green fire. Live camera here if you can see that. So I'm just picking out the fires. Everything looks pretty manageable as of 10:30 this morning. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. This fire here, the Wolf Fire, is pretty decent size, 2,000 acres. They've got okay containment on it, but you see where you are. You're in sort of an urban area here. You're kind of just east of Los Angeles, Santa Ana, kind of in this area. And so you're getting air quality issues or smoke coming up from these fires. And there have been for the last couple of days. So this is purple air. What we're looking at here is, what am I looking at here? I want it to reload. It's only, normally it's like, dang, it won't reload. But then I'm like, no, it's just populating, man. There's so much data here that this thing has to kind of, I mean, think about it. There's a lot of sites. There it is. Okay, so if we come in close, right, Los Angeles, 102 parts per million. So the oranges and the reds, that purple's nasty. So you can kind of see some of that smoke wafting around in Los Angeles proper. Some of this could potentially be morning, afternoon commute, but I think seeing the yellows close to the beach would indicate that, yeah, you're getting some of that particulate smoke closer to the ground and closer to some of those urban areas. So air quality, not awesome in Irvine, Long Beach. It's not horrible. It'll make an awesome sunset tonight, but you get the idea. And then Northern California, air quality, not too bad as you look at up the valley. When I was thinking that, like I said, I was in Lemoore the other day at the surf ranch, and it was like the air quality. Because I grew up kind of in Chico Paradise area, so it's like usually this time of year you get a real haze, you get kind of farm dust, and just stuff it's an inversion in there too, and so it gets caught up. And the air quality, that's pretty darn good air quality. By the way, when you see stuff like this, some of these anomalous, I think often that's just a bad sensor. When you get, you have greens surrounding one red spot. So here is some smoke, the smoke forecast. This was Canadian wildfire smoke that has been coming down off the plate. And you can kind of see it just wafting around. Nothing real big, nothing not like it was yesterday. And then down here in Los Angeles, I think it'll load up again. Let's see if I can get it to go. Yeah, 4th of July, man. Don't get me started. I used to go off on it on TV, and my thing's not working here. And I think it ruffled a few feathers but it's not your kid's fault. It's not your fault. It's not, they're for sale, right? And any kid in his right mind is going to go buy some. And I know there's illegal ones. Like when I worked in Oakland, you've seen Oakland, right? Oakland's terrifying, not just on 4th of July, but the day before and 3 days after. And it looks like a war zone, and it is essentially a war zone because it's so much illegal firework activity. And if you get the wrong wind blowing the wrong way, that stuff goes off. And so it's just like, oh my God. And it's not your fault. You guys, even in, well, if you're just getting them illegal, I guess that is kind of your fault. But I understand, I love fireworks. I love them. But as a scientist, as a meteorologist for all these years, I'm like, oh my God, that's the stupidest thing we do. It's the stupidest thing we do. And I kind of look at the governor and I go, or whoever the governor is, it's like, dude, seriously? Could you introduce a bill? Could you at least start the steps forward to start realizing that we live in I don't know, drought climate, so we should conserve water all the time, fire-rich climate, so we should be aware of what we're doing, stupid stuff like the 4th of July. Oh, and we have earthquakes. Let's prepare for those too, which we're a little better at. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like yeah. Oops. Okay. So 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Looks pretty near normal. I actually think it's going to go a little above normal at the end of like 8 days. You'll see that in the model coming up. So above normal 6 to 10 here, and then near normal for most of us, the big cities in California. And then there's rainfall potential, which is, that's Mediterranean climate. Didn't see that coming. Jesus, fireworks. Okay, this is some activity down in the Southland, down towards the Gulf. And you got good formation down here. A lot of activity in the Pacific right now. This bad boy, if it drifts out a little bit, you'll start getting into you want the hurricanes to get out here to get that good swell coming our way, a good south swell. What are we got? Just a lot of everything. I can't really pick out much. Here's a little low right here. That's going through, and then this next low comes in, and that kind of keeps us from getting too hot. So it's kind of more of the same. This is this morning, Salinas Valley, San Francisco Bay Area, fog burning back. This is why it's cool. Not a super deep inversion, but a little deeper inversion. Southern California, you got the smoke kind of showing up in these areas. And then you got the fog. It's going to burn back. I mean, if you're watching this and then, at noon, 12:31, it is sunny. It'll be sunny in most areas along the coast, Malibu, Ventura, south down towards Laguna Beach as well. So just a nice day. California's awesome, right? I hate to be all heavy about the fireworks scene, but I've been screaming it for my whole career, and no one listens. I mean, no politicians seem to listen. I shouldn't bust on politicians because I guess that's a hard job. I don't know. So there's the marine layer, and you can see it's a little deeper. We're at 2,500 feet on Mount Tamalpais, so we're looking down on it. So I think I looked at the profile this morning. It's 1,800 feet, which makes sense. So that's how deep this inversion is. That's why it's a little cooler. And then tomorrow and Friday, it gets a little deeper. And that's why it gets a little cooler still. So remember, the whole game with this is it gets deeper. Generally, we cool off. It gets shallower. Generally, we heat up. It's deeper, and it's going to be deeper the next couple of days. And you got the profile. I think I had the link for the profiler in my links, so I think you'd like that. And then you can profiler is awesome because it's that simple. When it gets shallow, that blue line, when it gets shallow, it's warmer. When it opens up, like it's a little open now, that marine layer we saw visually, it is going to be a little cooler. These are the forecast highs for today, or if you are so inclined, the highs from today. And we got 66 in San Francisco, 96 in Sacramento. It's going to be a little cooler tomorrow. Buck 3 in Redding, 100 down on Tulare, 99 in Bakersfield, 108 in Thermal. Very hot. I was just talking to my son. We were driving down through the valley, and a little history. This is a forecast for tomorrow, a little cooler. The valley, so people don't know this, but when the Civil War ended, because a lot of my family is from, my family goes back 6 generations in California, and they were Virginians, but after the Civil War, kind of, right after, around the gold rush, a little bit after, the boll weevil will come into the South and wipe out all the cotton, right? So you probably know where I'm going with this. So all the cotton gets wiped out, war ends, that things are not working out well for the South. Those guys, the big cotton farmers, migrate here, down to Tulare, down to Porterville, down to Bakersfield. J.G. Boswell, king of California, largest, I think at one point was the richest, biggest farmer on the planet, and that no one knew his name. No, because cotton's a really interesting crop. We can get into that water usage thing. It had a lot to do with water usage, and if you read, I think Cadillac Desert, they talk about it too. But so it was the Southern Valley, it was cotton farms with Southerners. It's a whole different culture. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So I was telling Bill that. I go, people, you don't really think about that, do you? But boll weevil, crops die. Hey, I got an idea. Let's get out of here. South lost. Things aren't going well for us. We move to these areas. These are the forecast highs. I know lots of weird little history thing only because especially when I was younger, I used to read a lot of history books. I still do, California history especially. This is the GFS Vorticity. And you can kind of see that little saggy baggy trough. That's today, kind of cool. And then see this is 4th of July. See that thing swing in. That's good news. That's good news. Yeah. And so that's going to keep things a little cooler. That's into Friday morning. And then it's still troughy into Sunday. But watch what happens here. You'll see this right here. Watch this area develop. It's a big high that pushes out. See, it's pushing out. So that would be some heat if that happens. Now the model, it's a few days out. The climate model is suggesting we're a little bit average or, at average. I think that towards the end of that run, we're going to be a little above average. I think this is going to get us back into the buck 5, Sacramento, 101 in Concord kind of a thing. And that's around the July 11th period. And then we kind of stay warm for a while. Yeah. So we may be getting into some fire danger stuff, summer. This is what I got here, HRRR, no, NAM. And I just want to look for those thunderstorms in the mountains tonight. There it is. So this is this afternoon. So right there. So Lake Tahoe, if you're heading that way, it looks like it wants to go off this evening, diurnal representing, meaning afternoon thunderstorms. And then it looks like that's it for there's a little something there on the 4th, but I don't see, it doesn't appear like there's anything dangerous. And again, it goes back to, fireworks, dry fireworks suck. Or not dry fireworks, fireworks suck, but dry lightning sucks. Puffins, I got stuff on them. This I didn't know. These are Atlantic puffins, but West Coast puffins, which is ours, very similar. Very similar. We just don't have as awesome a camera. But they have the puffins, the beak, it changes colors during the mating seating, during the breeding season. So that's awesome. So it's obviously there to attract females. I'm going to do a deeper dive into the whole deal on the beak because maybe I'd be interesting. I wonder if the females, it didn't tell me, I would assume it's the males turns color. They can dive 200 feet. That's pretty deep. 200 feet? And they spend most of their time in the ocean, like 7 or 8 months of their life every year is spent out at sea, just floating around, rafting around, not sitting on rocks. And then when they come to breed, they find sharp outcrops because they only lay 1 egg per puffin couple, and they do have couples, but they can't. It's got to live, and so they use those really strong beaks to burrow as much as a meter deep into the hillsides, into the wherever they can find a deep crevice to nest. Yeah, puffins, pretty awesome. I think that's all I have on puffins. I think that's all I got. Did I say the thing about stupid fireworks? I think I did, like 10 times. This is our puffin cam here out in the San Francisco area. And I'm like, God darn it, just point the camera another way, man. So this is Farallon Island, sorry. And there are puffins out there, but you ain't going to see them here. It'd be sad. It would be sad to see a puffin there. Farallon Island's awesome. Farallon Island's foggy. But it's an awesome bird sanctuary, and the puffins like it there because the predators, right? They can put their eggs into the ground because that's a very vulnerable position for an animal to be in. To have your eggs in the ground, they can put their eggs in the ground and they can survive. Okay, so surf ranch. Okay, I'll do surf ranch. This is Brooks Falls, first of all. Yeah, fish, buddy. Nice. Yesterday we looked at it. This is live. Alaska, brown bears getting ready to feed. I'm told that in the next month to month and a half, it goes off. And the fact that we're seeing fish jumping now, if you look close, you'll see some fish coming up the falls. Salmon working their way to spawning. But, surf ranch, awesome. Went with my son, my wife, and my daughter. Everybody surfed. Avery surfed. It was fun because they have different wave settings. The only downside to the surf ranch is it's the bottom's concrete, which I bounced off of pretty good. because you get inside. Because when it gets hollow, it's it's a depth thing, right? It throws because the water's getting shallower. So when you see the barrel, when you see it starting to throw, you're not in much more water than that, especially when you're way back there, like what Kelly does, what I tried to do, and you get swatted and you just go, man. So my first wave, I got just pounded, kind of. So after that, I kind of was outrunning the barrel as much as I could, 'cause I was like, ah. But no, it was super fun. About 103 degrees. It's really a unique experience. So that was fun. It's kind of I know it sort of sounds like a rich guy thing. It's kind of a weird. It's sort of I said I don't like bucket list, but it's kind of you got. If you're a surfer, you kind of almost just have to see it because it's really interesting. It's very very interesting, none to say less. So this is me. I'm not watching the video. I'm going to have to edit this in later, but this is just kind of, it goes down the line really fast and you kind of stay with it. And in the ocean, when you're surfing, you can see so I know like a lot of you guys, we have really good surfers. Like I'm the worst surfer of all of them. But in the ocean, when the wave starts to get shallow, you can see kelp and rocks and coloration in the water as the sand gets, so you can kind of see, okay, it's getting shallow. Here, when it comes up, it's so laminar, the concrete, it comes up and it's just smooth and you're just groovy, man. And all of a sudden it's dishing out. Whereas in a real ocean wave, you're like going, yeah. And you can go, oh, I can see some striations in the face representing some shallow water or maybe even a rock outcrop. And you go, okay, I got to get in. Here, you're just groovy and all of a sudden it's like, ah! You gotta get down. So it is awesome. My family had a great time. Thanks, Nick Masterzo, for inviting us. Super fun. I've been a couple times, and every time it's just awe-inspiring. And the people that work there too are awesome. Ari was awesome with my wife, helping her she got away from the length of the pool is like, oh hell yeah, it's like. Seems like it's at least a half mile long. I think it's at least, it must be, it's over a quarter mile. I think it's a half mile. Yeah. I think maybe not quite a half mile, but it's really long. It's really long. And the waves are so long, you split waves. So anyway, yeah, super fun. Hey, listen, if you're watching still, awesome, by the way. I want to get the fireworks thing out. I hate to be all Grandpa Bill, but I feel really strongly about this. And only because if you work in my business as long as I did in television, and you hear people on the other end of the phone or in latter years on the computer, texting or emailing or through social media, it's not a few people that have PTSD that are triggered by whether it be fires, the smell of smoke, even the pets, probably the last concern we have, which isn't cool, but that's typically how we are. Well, pets too. So it really is just a big kind of stupid thing we do. And I know, and I may just be a little grumpy about it, but I think in terms of just tangible, the fire danger is beyond palpable, and it's bad. It's a bad damn idea. It is. Governor Newsom, yeah, we know each other. It's a bad idea. I think that if you can get something started where at least we try to mitigate it and whatever, because it's not the kid's fault, it's not the parents' fault, it's not the guys who sell them's fault, it's the people who who sanction this in the state of California. That's me, fifth generation Californian. I can say that. I can say it. Okay, have a great day. I will see you. I'm going up fishing for a couple of days, but I'll try to do something tomorrow morning and then I'll be gone a couple of days. Okay, see you back here.